Hey, how's everybody doing here? February 5th, right? Just a quick little daily recap. Markets are under pressure, okay? I wanted to show you this here. Every single sector is down today except for one, all right? And that is your staples, all right? So your XLPs. We've been in these. I've been talking about them for 3 weeks, okay? I hope that you're still in some. Um, I took myself out of a couple. I got back in. Um, there's no reason for me to get out of that trade. All right. But I am not perfect either. So I definitely, uh, I definitely have been doing fairly well. All right. Considering what's going on with the markets right now. All right. Futures are falling apart here a little bit. And we'll see. In the big scheme of things right now, we've maybe had maybe about 2%, maybe 2.5% on the futures as a whole, moving down from the highs. So it's nothing too crazy. But when the markets come down, people get nervous. All right, so I just wanted to bring that up so you could see that. Definitely some downward pressure here on the sectors. Okay, um, so I changed up my pattern here a little bit. I got small ball here going on. I got the 15, I got the 30, I got the hour, and I got the day. All right. So XLP, that's our day today. Finishes with they came into a little bit of pressure today, as you can see here on the 30-minute went outside, and then the day ends up finishing with a 2-day. Couldn't get the lower low there. All right, so we're looking to see what happens out of this three, right? We're going to be back inside on this one for sure. All right. Some of these ones are already popping a little bit higher here. I see XLP is up a little bit higher already now. I see Procter and Gamble, but we'll see. This is just a lack of liquidity. All right. So don't get too nervous about any of that. But they are certain popping up here a little bit. All right, so I'm watching. I'm watching out of that group. I'm watching Procter and Gamble. All right, there you go. There's your day over there in the corner, as you can see. All right, so there's your Procter Gamble. Coca-Cola's still going here, folks. Still going, right? We've been on about this. We have been on about these staples. I went back and I looked back to see when we first started talking about the staples, and it was back on like February. No, I'm sorry. We're going back to the last 2 weeks of January. All right, we started talking about staples then, and I just did some math on it, so I know what the lows were on XLP. We were at 83.29, 83.29. Okay, so XLP 83 to 29. I think we even went back farther than that. All right, so we're probably talking back farther than that. We were probably back here even. I'm not getting a date here for some reason, but it was somewhere in maybe like the 12th to the 13th of January. Okay, so we were talking about them then. They've been moving up for us, and they've been very, very good. And they're going to flatten out sometimes, and they're gonna straw out, and they're going to break down. So as we move forward now, we're going to watch the futures as the futures go. All right, if the futures start to firm up, you're going to see these staples are going to start to come back down. All right, so you'll see that. You'll see it if you're watching the groups. You'll see how that'll happen. All right, if we start to spike up and get some moving to the upside, them staples are going to fall off. All right, so they do their job. They're defensive. All right, so they protect when the market goes down. All right, and they've been down for last year too. So you guys know the story. I'm not going to wake up too much time with it. All right. So Procter, Coca-Cola, Colgate, and XLP. That's the four. I just narrow it down to what you want to look at. All right, you can go through through that list on your staples, and you pick what you like, and then you see what you want to do with it. All right, so XLP, definitely the only sector that was up today. All right, so this is good too. So we got that going on. All right. I'm looking at all the other sectors here across the board, and I'll just buzz through them here kind of quick here. All right, so XLB, now we'll see if gold and silver is going to kick back in again. But XLB kind of 2-2 up on the 15 to finish the day. So buyers were coming in at the end. You know, so I wanted to play the small ball because we're going to be coming in the morning, and then I'll finish it up with how we're going to look at it. All right. So XLB 2-2 back down here. So they're kind of spoiled on the day here, coming back down. All right. So XLB, that one finished a little bit lower. Okay. XLF on your banks, same situation here. Tried to get some buyers coming back at the end of the day. Kind of fell off there a little bit, and there's your 30-minute that's just kind of stuck in the middle with your 60s. All right, so that was a 2-2 back down, but they're chopping, as you can see on the financials, and then there's your day finishing off with the downer on the day. All right, so XLF, we'll go quicker here. So look at XRT. XRT, as you see, down on the day again. Retail kind of falling off, right? We were watching those discretionaries were doing pretty good for us, and now it's the 2-2, it's the 3-3-2-2 back down. All right, so the 3-3-2-2 broke us back down. All right, so we'll watch them, see if they start to firm up. We'll watch the diamonds. The diamonds are still really holding above on all the other averages right now as far as the the indices. All right, so and then we got XLV on your healthcare. There's another one that was a pooper coming down on the day with a shooter down, so that could go into force and bring you down lower here tomorrow. Look for that to go into force. All right, it was trying to get some action here at the end of the day, and you finished out your 60 flat, not showing anything there. Okay, XLV. And then we've got XLK coming back down. XLK. XLK finishes the day with puker. So this thing's been already. We know that tech has been bad. We've been talking about these Mag 7 for how long? For like weeks and weeks and weeks now. I've been saying chopping. Are they starting to capitulate? We'll see. You know, it's like they're going to turn around. They're going to, but again, I mean, this might get all the way through to the second quarter before things start to get better, and that's just me thinking out loud. I really do think there was something that I said early on in the year. I said we might put the highs in for the year. I did say that a few times. I think it's a curse, maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen. But right now, they are not looking too good. All right, so we'll see what continuation comes there. There's your XOK. That's already been, yeah, we're starting to get some exhaustion risk on these things to the downside too, so we haven't really had any rallies at all. All right, and then we look at XLE Energy. Energy's been holding up pretty well. Fought back here on the day too, so 2-2 back up on the XLE. We'll see if Energy can keep it going here right now, but this group is it's one of the better ones, okay? So if we're ranking them, XLK, man, XLK is your biggest loser, all right? So that's what we got for our sectors. And we'll go through the futures here real quick here. So diamonds, all right. So diamonds, DIA. All right, diamonds coming down here. So we just broke this this marker here that you see. That's basically the middle of the last 2 weeks. All right, that is since February began. All right, so it's not a whole lot of information. all right, because I just went through the hourlies, all right. So, but this is where we are right now, okay. This is kind of where we are as we start. We're going to be going into the second week of the month here. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we're going to be finishing the first week of the month here, all right, tomorrow, and then we'll see what goes, how we usher into the second week, all right. So we'll see what happens there, all right. So I'm keeping it real close. When the markets start to come down, I tighten things up, and I want to keep it really focused on where we're going and how things are moving. All right, so I'll be a little bit tighter on my markets. All right, so diamonds, there you go. SPY, I still can't. It's still annoying as crap here. All right, so I can't see my bars on the dailies, but I can figure it out by just looking at the week on the 60s. All right, so coming back down there a little bit right now. Where is that little thing at? All right, so coming back in here. Here we are kind of in the middle of that one as well. All right, so we dip down below there. All right, so for the SPY, 686 and change. Actually, I'll give you the hard number right there. SPY is going to be 686.35, 686.35. All right, we're way below there right now at 674. All right, we're coming down lower again. We closed at 677.62. We're down another buck or two coming down. All right, so looks like still some pressure down on there, all right, and now to QQQ, and QQQ's been leading the charge to the downside with the Mag 7s and all of our other tech stocks. It would have been kind of just nasty. All right, so 2-2. That's the 3. When I always say the 3-2-2 up, now you got the 3-2-2 down. It goes both ways. Okay, you can play the strat the same way you play on the other side going down. Right? So as I was saying earlier today, when you got full time frame continuity to the downside and you get these rallies, you look for these shooters, and shooters are reconfirming that the stock is still going lower. Okay? And when we're going the upside, we look for those hammers that tell us that, okay, these things are still going higher. Okay? So until we see some of them start to dry up, then we might see some changes. Or this could be an overnight thing, and all of a sudden the markets are up. Anything could happen. It wasn't like that 25 years ago, okay, because I was there. All right, but it wasn't like that back then. But it does happen like that now, okay? But we're under pressure here. All right, so we know the staples. We know the sectors. You got a pretty good idea what we're looking at. We know that the futures are under pressure. I'm looking at them right now. They're down lower here. Like I said, closed at 677.62. We're trading at 673 right now. All right, so continuation to the downside right now, and we'll wait and see if anything's going to get better there. NASDAQ kind of fell out of bed here today, tried to get a rally going, but it's all down at the end of the day here. All right, so watch our diamonds, are still the best group. Trade less and look at bigger bars. That's why I talked about today. When I talked today to you at lunchtime, I talked about how we're going to look at the weeks. Okay, so what my methods is that when the market starts to fall apart on me, first thing I do is I get cautious. Okay, and you could be getting cautious in many ways. Okay, UVXY, this guy. Okay, UVXY. This is like growth stocks. Okay, so this is the anti. It goes the other way. So if our growth stocks are going down, then you're going to get some movement here on the UVXYs. All right, so you'll get a move to the upside there. All right, so and this thing must have it's moved back up pretty good here for just recently with the moves up on the day here. Okay, so UVXY, you can trade the SUDS. These ones that are a little bit wicked right now because they're hard to trade. Okay, But these are defensive, and if the S&P 500 starts to break, this guy should start to go back up. So you're starting to see this movement to the upside. So you got the Sudsies, you got that. And there's a number of them. I'm just going through a couple of easy ones so you can see it. And then SQQQs are the same. So you get the SQs kind of giving up here on the 30-minute at the end of the day. Again, don't if you're gonna trade these things, just watch them. All right, watch them for a while before you do anything. All right, I'm just making you aware of them. Okay, if you're not out there. Just be careful. All right. So that's why I'm saying. All right. So I'm going to be talking more from the week and the day, less from the 60s and less from all that other stuff. And we'll wait and see. Apple's still a positive on the week here. So Apple's like really a shining star. And I'll leave it at that with Apple, because Apple just it's doing really well. You know, even considering that everybody else is garbage, it's doing okay. And even if you pull it up on the week here, I'll flip this over to the week. I mean, look at your week. All right, 2 up on the week here on your Apple. All right, so Apple's strong, man. We got to get other people to follow Apple. See if we can get that going. Okay, so that's really it, man. That's it, right? 16 minutes. I keep it quick, and we'll check things out in the morning. We'll see what's happening. It looks like we are going to be a little bit lower probably in the morning, so be aware of that. All right, if you got positions, protect your positions. This thing could get nasty. We don't know, but you want to be playing defensive now. So we'll look at those stocks that we talked about, and I will be back talking to you tomorrow. All right, so be good.